What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Salamangreat deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck was actually suggested by one of my patrons, Luke. And this deck is an extremely powerful deck that can play through multiple hand traps and set up some insane boards. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. And definitely give Luke some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Salamangreat Gazelle. This card is definitely a 3 of in the build, as this card is one of the most powerful cards in the entire deck. And if a Salamangreat monster is sent to the graveyard, you can actually special summon this card from your hand. And if it's normal or special summoned, you can actually send a Salamangreat card from your deck to the graveyard, with one of the most powerful cards to be able to send to the graveyard off this card's effect being Spinny, so you can bring it back to your side of the field using Spinny's effect. We then play 3 copies of Salamangreat of Fire. Fire is definitely a 3 of in the build because this card is basically the Stratos of the deck. And if this card is normal or special summoned, you can actually add a level 4 or lower Salamangreat monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, which is an awesome effect. We then play 2 copies of Spinny. Spinny is a great extender in the build and just such an awesome card to be able to play in the deck, but I feel like 2 copies is really all you need. This card is really, if you control a Salamangreat card, you can actually discard this card to target a face-up monster on the field, and it gains 500 attack until the end of this turn. But if you control a Salamangreat monster other than a copy of Spinny and this card's in the graveyard, you can actually special summon this card but banish when it leaves the field, which is an awesome fact to be able to bring this card back to your side of the field so you can go full combo. We then play 2 copies of Foxy. Foxy is really awesome as a 2 of in the build, but I feel like 2 copies is really all you need. This card is an awesome fact that when this card is normal summon, you can excavate the top 3 cards you deck, and if you get to add 1 excavated Salamangreat card to your hand, and then shuffle the rest back into the deck. And if this card's in the graveyard and a face-up spell and trap card is on the field, you can actually discard a Salamangreat card to special summon this card, then you can destroy a face-up spell or trap card on the field, which is a great effect to help you bring this card back to your side of the field so you can keep link climbing. We then play a single copy of Zak Jaguar. Zak Jaguar is awesome as a 1 of in the build because this card is just a really good extender. We then play a single copy of Weasel. Weasel's awesome in the deck because this card is actually a tuner, which helps us out a lot in the deck because we have an awesome synchro monster in the extra deck. We play a single copy of Mirror. Mirror is a really good extender as well because this card is really, if this card is added to your hand except by drawing it for your normal draw, you can reveal this card and then special summon it from your hand. And if it's already in your hand, you can actually discard one of their Salamangreat card to special summon this card in your hand, making it an awesome extender in the build. We play a single copy of Code of Soul. Code of Soul is great in the build as a 1 of to help you link summon during your opponent's turn, as if you control a link monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and during your main phase, you can activate this effect that once this turn, if you're going to link summon a Salamangreat link monster, then use a Salamangreat link monster that you control with its with the same name as the entire material. And during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can actually banish this card in the graveyard, and immediately this effect resolves, you get to link summon a link 3 or higher Cyberse monster, and you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. But this card is an awesome combo piece in the deck to help you basically link summon during your opponent's turn. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's definitely a 3 of in the build to basically just use this card to stop your opponent from touching the deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Triple Tactics Talent. This card is great in this deck to help you basically draw 2 cards, take control of an opponent's monster, or look at your opponent's hand and choose a card from it and shuffle it into the deck. We play a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is really good in this build as a 1 to basically just stop your opponent's hand traps. We play a single copy of Cross-Out Designator. Cross-Out Designator is awesome in this build as well to go along with your copy of Called by, just to guarantee you're going to be able to stop your opponent's hand traps. We play a single copy of Salamangreat Sanctuary. This card is searchable off our copy of Balings, which is why we just play a single copy in the build. But this card is an awesome ability. If you link summon a Salamangreat Link monster, you can actually use one Salamangreat Link monster you control with the same name as the entire material, which is a really cool ability just to basically help you link summon so you can reincarnate summon your different Salamangreat monsters. And lay a single copy of Will of the Salamangreat. This card is basically soul charge for the build and such a powerful card in the deck that during your main phase you can actually special summon a Salamangreat monster from your hand to your graveyard, and you can also send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard and then target a link monster that's a Salamangreat monster you control that was link summoned using a monster with the same name as a material, and then special summon Salamangreat monsters from your hand and your graveyard in defense position up to the number of that monster's link rating, and you can only use one effect of this card per turn and only once that turn. But that second effect is basically like Soul Charge, which is insane, so you can bring back like 4 different Salamangreat monsters to your side of the field, which is such a cool ability if you target your copy of Raging Phoenix. We then play a single copy of Salamangreat Charge. Charge is great as a 1-of to basically help you recycle your cards with the ability that you can actually target 3 of your fire monsters that are banished and are in your graveyard, shuffle 2 of the 3 into the deck, and if you do, you get to special summon the remaining monster, but for the rest turn, its effects are negated, and also it cannot attack, but that's totally fine because it just helps you basically use this card like a monster reborn. It's just really good in the build as a 1-of. We then play 3 copies of Signet Mining. Signet Mining is basically Rhoda for the deck, helping you dig into the deck for the exact card that you need, while also helping you send a card from your hand to the graveyard. We then play 3 copies of Salamangreat Circle. Circle is awesome in the build as a 3-of because this card is basically Rhoda for the build. So you're basically playing like 6 copies of Rhoda in the deck between your Signet Mining and Circle, which is actually insane. We then play 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet. Droplet is awesome in the build because you want different cards like Jack Jaguar in the graveyard, and this card is just really good in the build to help you basically break your opponent's board by halving the attack points of your opponent's monsters and also negating effects. This card is just really good in this deck overall. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get in to the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Rage. Rage is great as a 1-of in the build because this card is an awesome effect that you can actually activate one of these effects to send a Salamangreat monster from your hand or face her on the field to the graveyard, and then target a card on the field and destroy it, or you can target a Salamangreat Link monster you control that was link summoned using a monster with the same name as a material, and destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of that link rating, which is a great effect to be able to do to basically pop multiple cards on the field. We play a single copy of Roar. Roar is great in this deck as a 1-of and just such a powerful card to play in this deck because this card is just an awesome counter trap. And when a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated while you control a Salamangreat Link monster, negate the activation to destroy that card. Also, when this card's in the graveyard, if a Salamangreat Link monster is link summoned to your field using a monster with the same name as a material, you can actually set this card but banish and leave the field, which is a great effect so you can use this card twice, which is so cool. We then play 3 copies of Dominus Impulse. Dominus Impulse is great to block your opponent's special summons and is such a powerful card in the deck because we basically only play fire in this deck. So this card is great in the build to basically just stop your opponent's special summons, and it's an extremely powerful hand trap in this build. We then also play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is great to basically just stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. This card is an awesome hand trap in the build. It's just really good to basically have an answer to anything with this deck. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get in to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with Raging Phoenix. Raging Phoenix is such a powerful boss monster and such a cool card to be able to summon, as this card requires 2+ fire effect monsters, but it is an awesome link 4. And if this card is link summoned using a copy of Raging Phoenix as a material, you can actually add a Salamangreat card from your deck to your hand, grabbing anything that you need. And if a face-up fire monster that you control is destroyed by battle by card effect, while this card's already in the graveyard, you can actually target one of those monsters and then special summon this card. And if you do, this card gains attack equal to that monster's attack points, which is a pretty cool ability to be able to use. But this card is a great boss monster that's a searcher and also can bring itself back from the graveyard and become massive. We then play 2 copies of Pyro Phoenix. Pyro Phoenix is great to be able to work with your copy of Code of Soul, as this card is an awesome fact that if this card is link summoned using a copy of Pyro Phoenix as a material, you can destroy all cards that your opponent controls, which is great to be able to link summon into this card during your opponent's turn, which is so easy to do. This card also has a really cool ability that you can actually target a link monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to your opponent's field. And if a link monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, you can actually target one of those monsters and inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack, which is a great effect to be able to use, and I love that about this card. You can play a single copy of Bestower of Flames. Bestower of Flames is a great card to help us basically link climb, as it can bring back our fire monsters back from the graveyard, and it's such a powerful card in deck to be able to have in your graveyard because it can bring itself back. We made a single copy of Nightmare Phoenix. Nightmare Phoenix is great to help you pop spells and traps. We then play a single copy of Hita to help us climb, which is really good to help you bring back one of your opponent's Ash Blossoms from the graveyard. We then play 2 copies of Sunlight Wolf. Sunlight Wolf is great to help us search, and it's just a really cool card overall in the build. We then play 3 copies of Balinx. Balinx is insane in the build as a 3-up, and just a really powerful card that if this card is link summoned, you can add a Salamangreat Sanctuary from your deck to your hand, which will actually let us reincarnate summon, which is so cool to be able to do. And also, if a Salamangreat card you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, and actually banish this card in the grave instead, giving you a little bit of protection. I'm playing a single copy of Mirage Stalio. Mirage Stalio is very easy to go into and is an awesome card to be able to summon. You can actually detach your material in this card to special summon a Salamangreat monster from your deck in defense position. Also, you cannot activate the effects for the rest turn except for fire, which is totally fine because that's all we play in this build. And also, if this XZ summon card is sent to the graveyard as a material for a link summon of a Salamangreat monster, you can target one monster on the field and return it back to the hand. And finally, play a single copy of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Horse Prince. Now, this card is really interesting as your copy of Weasel is actually a tuner, so you can make this card really easily in the deck. So it just requires a fire tuner plus a non-tuner to make it. And when this card is synchro summoned, you can actually special summon a level 3 fire monster from your deck, which is great to be able to summon out something like a copy of Gazelle or anything that you need. And also, this card has the ability, after you do special summon this card, you cannot special summon level 5 or higher monsters the rest turn, which is totally fine because we don't summon level 5 or higher monsters in this build. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Salamangreat deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's such a powerful deck to help you OTK. And it can play through so many hand traps, which is insane. So that's going to do this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.